Angel, if you knew that you had a short term lease, why were you taking your time finding a house? I'm going to be real. This doesn't make sense. I'm not saying that you were evicted. I'm not saying that you used this for a storyline, but this looks away, Angel. Something ain't clean in the milk. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Tammy. This is Tammy Talks, the Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 10, Episode 11, Lease Is Up, Giddy Up, all right? As always, subscribe, thumbs up, hype, comment, all that type of stuff, all right? So we start off with Tia. So Tia's company is sponsoring a polo event. I think they're sponsoring like an all-lady team at the polo event. And so she's going to bring all the ladies, her brother's there to help her out. And I'm like, oh, you brave for taking these ladies around your real job. The real job, but okay. So Tia has a Sprinter van for everyone so that they can all meet at her house and they can all arrive together. So Tia lets them know, look, this is my real job, okay? There won't be no nonsense. My coworkers will be there. Again, very risky. Very risky, okay? So we find out that Stacy has been uninvited since she kicked Tia out of her event. Figured that would happen. So Jesse wants some hardcore proof that Stacy is a liar. Ashley said, look, Stacy wasn't going to attend your wedding until me and Wendy were going. That's one. Ashley, now why I do think Stacy is a liar, Ashley, that's not a lie. That's not a lie. You also can't really prove that. Okay? But you answered the question. So for some reason, the ladies were invited to sing the national anthem. Now, we find out, or at least I found out, Angel is a classically trained opera singer. So Tia asks Angel to sing the national anthem. Ashley has the audacity, the gall, the temerity, the nerve, the gumption to wonder why she has not been asked to do it. Because you can't sing, Ashley. That's why. So these heifers decide to sing Lift Every Voice. I hollered. Now, while I love Lift Every Voice, okay? Love everything about the song. Love it down. This was not the this was not the event for that. And I know them white people were pissed because y'all know they don't like or respect the Black National Anthem. But, kudos to the ladies for singing it. I didn't see anyone necessarily looking at the lyrics. So shout out to them. And then they all went to go stomp the divots in the grass. Okay. So Jessie pulls Ashley over to the side and she admits that she feels a little bit of a ways that Ashley is insinuating that Stacy was not going to come to her wedding. She says she had never heard anything about that. She doesn't look at Stacy sideways when it comes to friendship. We get that flashback of Stacy telling her that, I have been a bad friend to you, whatever the case. But in her confessional, Jessie said that she does not believe that Stacy would tell them she wasn't going to come to the wedding. Stacy did, though, if I'm not mistaken. Stacy did. Didn't Stacy tell you, Jessie, that she had some stuff to move around? We heard somebody say something about Stacy not going because of Shayo. Like she said it was a conflict of interest, right? Stacy told you that, Jessie. What is happening? Moving right along. So while the ladies are, eating their food, then white people were setting out with bare hands and no gloves. The way that I cringed and shuddered when I saw that thick ass white hand putting out them cookies, palming the cookies and setting them out. Not a tongue, a napkin, a nothing. That's why I don't fuck with potlucks. Why wouldn't you have a glove on your hand? So Ashley points out how Angel previously mentioned that the ladies did not make her feel included. Angel was like, yeah, and Ashley said, well, this would have been the perfect opportunity for you to interact with the ladies. Now, Ashley's messy for doing this. However, However, Angel, you did say that you felt unincluded when it came to the ladies. Angel, you have also said that you were going to make more of an effort to interact with the ladies more and to talk to the ladies more. We saw the ladies, pocketed off talking, whatever the case. You sat over to the side with Kay. And it's something about when Angel is around Kay that her personality is different. So then, of course, Angel is like, no. I'm gonna make a point to get to know each of you ladies individually. It's gonna happen. But then in her confessional, she's run tell that, bumping the gums, and she's like, oh, what am I supposed to do? Beg y'all to talk to me? No, just go talk and have a conversation like a fucking adult. That's what you can do, Angel. I don't understand this whole whatever. I'm sick of Angel. So then Angel was like, we're all gonna get along, even me and you, Wendy. And I just kind of feel like, again, what happened in college that Angel and Wendy don't like each other? Something happened. We don't know what, but something happened, okay? We then fast forward 18 hours later in this pensive and this dramatic music before the commercial break. And we see Angel packing up that house because she has to move back to Colorado. According to Angel, there was a miscommunication on the dates. So the owners thought that they would be gone for a period of time. Angel, that doesn't make sense, right? Angel said there was a miscommunication on dates. The owners thought they would be gone for a period of time. That doesn't make sense, Angel. So Kate comes over and Angel was like, oh, yeah, girl, we about to go back to Colorado. Kate was like, no, not my only friend leaving. Ah, that's what she wanted to do. So Tia comes over and Angel is like, okay, so the house was double booked and the owner emailed me saying, I hope you had a good stay. So we find out that the house came furnished and the furniture is not hers. Listen, Angel said that they're used to moving because they are a football team. Didn't you say that Bobby was a 10-year starter? So was Bobby going from team to team starting? Because you made it seem as if y'all were in Colorado for a minute. Here's the thing, Angel, it's given that you tried to come and make a splash on the show. I'm going to be real because this just doesn't make sense to me. Now, granted, I have never rented a house, okay? But I have rented a townhouse and I have rented an apartment. This just doesn't make sense. So if Angel got a short-term lease, you're still given the opportunity to extend. Because I have signed a 6-month lease before, right? I've never went lower than 6 months, but I have signed a 6-month lease and you are always given the opportunity to resign. Like something is not making sense. I don't get this. I truly don't get this. So Tia leaves and Gizelle calls her coincidentally right away as she's leaving and invites her to the football party that they're having, Potomac and Ponies. It doesn't make sense, Gizelle. It doesn't make sense. The name doesn't make sense. But Tia immediately was like, yo, I just left Angel. Angel's lease is up and she had to move out and she's headed back to Colorado. Gizelle was like, so she came here for the show? That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. Because Gizelle said, because if you planned on moving back, you wouldn't have gotten a short-term lease. Now, I disagree with that because according to Angel, they planned on coming back, right? So they came back, they caught a short-term lease, they were in a rental, and then they were going to look to find a house. The thing that doesn't make sense, though, is they were acting as if they had all the time in the world to look for a house. They were really, really taking their time based on what has been presented to us. Now, they could have been out there, really pounding the pavement trying to look for a house, but that's not the vibe we were given. We didn't see a sense of urgency with them. Okay. So Gizelle then said in her confessional that Angel probably thought that they would be done filming the show by now. And so she gave a specific time frame, and that time frame is now off. So here's the thing. I don't believe that Angel was blindsided by this move. Angel knew she had to move by this date. Now, I do believe that Angel did specify a time frame that she thought the show might be done with, and then that way she can head on back and it wouldn't be a big deal. This is crazy. Because to my understanding, Angel is back in Colorado, right? She's not in DC. She's not in Virginia. She's not in the DMV area. She's in Colorado. So Angel looking for a storyline Angel looking for a house is given storyline tease, okay? We then pan over to Wendy. She's out with Eddie and their daughter Cameron at a dance class. And Wendy is telling Eddie about that event that she's co-hosting with Gizelle. We then get a flashback of Wendy being on the phone with Gizelle. They're on FaceTime, and Wendy is sitting in Eddie's office, and she's like, oh, let me show you Eddie's office. Have you seen it? And Gizelle was like, oh, Wendy making money. Wendy making money. I said, the way that production is leaving all these money conversations in, crazy. So we then get a conversation where Eddie is asking if the renovations are within budget. This is what I understand about Wendy and Eddie. Wendy let us know last season that she don't pay the bills. She doesn't know how much anything costs. She's just out here living off of vibes. Now this season, if Eddie is the one that's paying the bills, why wouldn't Eddie know if the renovations are within budget? Eddie, are you not looking at the invoices? Y'all money conversations don't be making sense. Okay? So Wendy was like, no, not in the budget. You know, I feel like once we get an invoice that is over $100,000, we've blown the budget. Wendy said that they're just collecting invoices like Infinity Stones at this point. She then pivots very quickly and wants to talk about her father. So we find out that her dad has been calling her, but she has not answered because she is scared of the conversation. Eddie said, look, remember Eddie's family disowned him when he married Wendy. So Eddie has come back around, or excuse me, his siblings have actually come back around and they have a little bit of a relationship. And he lets Wendy know, look, we have a sibling check-in once a month. We're not best friends, but I've realized that once he got rid of the expectations that he put on them that they weren't hitting, that he was able to better meet them where they were and the relationship was better. And I think that's just what Wendy's going to have to do. Because Wendy was like, okay, so I call him, we talk, and then what? You'll figure that out during the course of the conversation. At the same time, I just feel like this is just a storyline for Wendy to be real. So Stacy and Kiana, they meet up so they can finally figure out why Kiana hates Stacy because nobody knows. I don't even think Kay knows. So Stacy wants to order burrata. Kay is like, well, I don't eat cheese. Stacy orders it anyway. Stacy orders the damn burrata anyways. And Kiana lets her know I'm allergic to cheese. Now, we found that out last season at Lake Norman, but I kind of figure, I mean, girl, if you're not eating it, what does it matter? Isn't Stacy just eating the burrata, or were they going to share it? But Kay said that Stacy was nasty to her at the Bloom Ball. She wasn't, though, girl. You came up and you got in Stacy's face. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Stacy. And Stacy was like, hey. And I was with Stacy. Let's start from the beginning. You screamed at me at Gizelle's house. You did a lot that first episode, that first scene at Jizzy's house. You did a lot, Kiana. So I was with Stacy. Why would I then see you next? Would it be all, hey girl, hey? Why would it be that? No, ma'am. That's not how we get down. Kay then feels that Stacy weaponizes her fight because you act like a fool all the time. If I was around GK and the way that you be yelling and screaming and hooting and hollering and doing all that shit, I would be saying every chance I got, don't make me call Deborah with that bottle because you're doing too much. You got way too much mouth for somebody that clearly can't fight. Because remember, you jumped into that fight. You inserted yourself into that fight between Candace and Deborah. And that's why you got your head bust with that bottle. That's why. So Stacy is asking, why would you go to Monique and tell her I dated her ex-husband? Well, Stacy, one, Kiana had no reason to do that. None. But Stacy, you keep skirting around it and saying we hung out, Because when they asked Stacy point blank, did you date Chris? Her response is, well, we hung out. She's not saying no until now. Now she's finally saying no. But whatever. So Stacy feels that they have a lot in common, her and Kay. She's like, I'm back with Timo. You're back with Greg, I hear. Kay then goes on to say that she is very direct and she's a very direct and passionate person. And that's why she speaks the way that she does. And she doesn't want Stacy to be fearful around her. Look, Stacy has every right to feel however way she feels about you, Kiana, to be real, because you've been acting weird because we still don't understand what is the issue. What is the issue? Because last week, when y'all left off last season, y'all were cool, right? So then, episode 1 of this season, you came in with the weird energy. What happened off screen, off season that we don't know about? Because you need to say something. Otherwise, we're going to keep looking at you like a whole weirdo. So then Gizelle, Ashley, and Wendy are out for drinks. We would have never thought to see that trio. Ashley tells them that she is getting her period twice a month. Nobody asks you. They get a text from Angel inviting them to Colorado for a couple of days. We then see in a confessional that Angel is saying this is her way of extending the olive branch and talking to them. Angel, we don't care. You only inviting them because you got to go and you want to film still. Wendy is letting them know that Stacy wants to bring potato salad to the little event. And Gizelle was like, oh, hell no, I'm not eating that. Now, Gizelle, you can't cook either. I heard you can just bake. Karen had said you can bake your ass off. We ain't heard nothing about your cooking. But, I mean, it's a side dish. If she mess it up, y'all ain't got, it's not a main dish, okay? So Gizelle tells them Angel got kicked out of her house. And Wendy is like, I got one better for you. I have a friend that's a realtor and said that a girl came up to her wanting a house, needing a house in Potomac that looks like $50,000, but only wants to pay 2 or 3. That is quite the jump. You want a house that looks like $50K a month, but you only want to pay 2 or 3? That's crazy. So Gizelle said, well, I heard that Bobby don't like Eddie. I heard Bobby don't like the guys. And then Gizelle said, okay, I made that up. But y'all shouldn't care about that, right? Because that is a lie that's not hurting anybody, right? And lies don't matter, okay? Y'all said that about Stacy. Lies don't matter. It's not a big deal. So Potomac and Ponies, the event. Why is it called that? Do we know why? Did I miss why they named it that? Whatever. So everybody has their kids and their partners. I like when they do the events when everybody brings the kids because you see all the kids behaving. Actually, little badass kids be, it's always one of them pouting, but they're little. So I'm gonna give them that. But I like seeing all the kids and everybody with them because we know that they ain't gonna get too ugly at the event. So Ashley brought some catfish and said that it's very fitting because of Angel. I know Ashley was sweating bullets hoping Angel finally came because Angel was late. Sharice came in, immediately cackled because I'm like, I know when I watch all my recaps, y'all gonna be so just make Sharice a friend of the show at this point. She is literally at everything. Oh my God. I feel like we see Sharice more than Jassy at this point. So Kay is calling Angel to see where she is because, like, girl, everybody's here. Angel was like, we're far, but we're coming. And so everybody is like, okay, so how far is far? Bobby was like, we'll get there when we get there. I thought that was so rude. I'm sorry, but that's rude. One, more than likely, y'all got a GPS on. You could have just said, oh, we're about 20 minutes out. I thought that was so incredibly rude. Well, yes, it's factual. We'll get there when we get there, but that's rude, though, because y'all are already late. Like, what if we're waiting on y'all to eat? What if we're waiting on your kids to start, like, an activity or something? Like, Bobby, your slip showed a little bit. I didn't like that. So Tia then said, you know what, let's have some grace. Maybe they had a stressful week. They have the kids. Wendy was like, I got 3 kids. I know how it is to gather all their asses up to get going. Ashley has 2 kids. Like, don't do that. Don't do that, Tia. Especially when almost everybody there has small-ish children that they got to get wrangle up. Tia, you got 4. Like, don't do that. Tell me somebody should have some compassion. She didn't have to. Bobby didn't have to be rude. If y'all are running late, y'all are running late. But I will get there when we get there. I'd have been like, you ain't got to come. I don't like shit like that. So Stacy shows up with Timu and with her daughter. Y'all got not Timo and her daughter. Stacy then said the only reason Timo was there is because of her relationship with Wendy, the same Wendy he didn't want to meet, the same Wendy and Eddie that he's apprehensive about. So is Stacy lying now, or was Stacy lying about Timo not wanting to meet? Because he didn't look. I'm gonna be real. I would think that he would have more anxiety wanting to be around Wendy and Eddie in this big group setting as opposed to that small dinner that y'all weren't invited to. So Stacy is excited for everybody to try her potato salad. She got some Lowry. She just, she want to make sure y'all know she's down, okay? Jesse brought in some macaroni. It looked dry when they were scooping it, but everybody kept saying it was good, but it looked a little dry. Bobby and Angel came in late, and Wendy was announcing what everybody brought. And Angel is offended that Ashley brought catfish. It was petty as fuck. It didn't go with the meal. I mean, Wendy brought in boxes of Popeyes. Like, girl, you couldn't go down to the Publix and just get a pan of like wing, like. Okay. So Angel is like, at least at my house, we had a chef. That wasn't your house. That wasn't your house. And we know that you hired that chef and stuff because you're putting on airs. That wasn't your house. No, ma'am. So we don't care. So Ashley then gets right into it with Angel about moving. Angel said, well, the rental was a short-term lease because they thought they would find a house. Again, it just doesn't make sense because it seemed like y'all were really dragging y'all feet about finding a house. That's how it was edited, at least. Like, y'all just had all the time in the world. But for you to move in and not have fun, like... I don't know, Angel. This don't sound right. So Tia is like, okay, girl. So did you think it was like the 12th, but it was the 1st? Like, they're really trying to understand. Like, nobody's throwing shade yet. They're really trying to understand. Like, how did this happen? Angel is like, girl, I don't even know. I don't know. What the fuck you mean you don't know? So then Ashley is like, that is not something that I would have expected you to do. You're a mom. You're on top of stuff like this. This is crazy. Wendy said, girl, I'm going to get right to it. They said you got evicted. So then everybody is like, okay, Wendy. Wendy said, hey, let me put it out there. I don't know what to think. I really don't know what to think. Do y'all think that Angel bought the house or rented the house so she can get on the show? Or what do y'all think? Let me know down below. Subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, and I will catch you guys in the comments. Bye.